What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I wanted to go over the Gunsmith here on the Modern Warfare 2 beta and basically show all the possible unlocks and things you can probably get in week 2 of this as well, because the level is going to be increased to 30 in week 2 of the beta here, which I didn't realize that at first. So I'm not gonna lie, by the way, when I first started off on the Modern Warfare 2 beta, from all the feedback I was seeing from many of the other YouTubers, I was kind of going into this like, oh my, this game is going too well. But to be honest, after playing the beta for a little bit, I do know the game's going to have some flaws here, but I've actually been enjoying this for the most part. Now, as I did mention before, you guys will be able to increase your level to 30 in the second week of the beta, which, just in case you might have been wondering, the PlayStation 5 beta is going to end tomorrow on September 20th, and then Xbox and PC Early Access is going to start Thursday, September 22nd, and if you guys are on PlayStation, don't worry, you can also play during this time as well. And then Open Beta is going to start on September 24th and go to Monday, September 26th. So at least we have some time to actually play the beta and really figure out some things that might need to be changed or fixed, and hopefully the devs will actually take note of that and really try to change some things around. I'll get into more of that here in a second, but it is pretty cool that the level is increasing to 30 because I would like to try out some of these other items that you guys do see in the menu here. I would say I have probably died from every single lethal item in the beta so far. I pretty much get grenaded all the time from across the map, which I really can't help but laugh at that. Then I also do get killed by the proximity mine when someone is sitting in one of the rooms there. But honestly, that is probably what that is for. But myself, I always run the thermite because a lot of players on the Modern Warfare 2019 game always use the riot shield, so I always threw it at them when they tried to sit in a corner with it. And my goodness, that was funny to watch. I do also see the Semtex a good amount, and then obviously the drill charge has killed me a lot as well. But looking forward to trying out the C4 and the other items that are also going to be in this. So now moving over to the Gunsmith now, I would say this is probably one of the highlights of the game here, but I do know a lot of players are probably going to be mixed on this. For example, the UI, I guess, on this is probably a big issue, which is aka the user interface. I do think a lot of players probably like 2019 better than this, but I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm kind of digging the one on Modern Warfare 2 a little bit better. I do like how this is actually set up. Obviously, you have all the attachments here you can throw on the weapon. It has the pros and cons like 2019, and you could pretty much go from there and try to build the weapon that you would like to have now. And then the other feature that I found really cool about Modern Warfare 2 is going to be the receiver option, which was obviously showed in that one trailer a couple of days ago. I personally think this is going to be really cool to have in the game because it will allow you to actually get other weapons leveled up quicker and or have different attachments for other weapons in like the class of like the M4 for example. I do think this is going to be pretty cool, and if you guys are trying to grind out camos and all that, I do think this is going to make this a lot easier for different weapon types and all that as well. So unfortunately, you cannot view the camos in the game at the moment. That might change next week when the other beta comes out. But personally, I think they're going to probably hide the camos to the actual game's release. But to be honest, guys, this brings me to another topic. Are they going to have the weapon leveling tied to the camos like in 2019 and or Call of Duty Vanguard? Personally, I don't think they should do this. I think they should have all the camos available right when you get the weapon. You could probably get many of the challenges completed when leveling up the weapon and or getting attachments for it anyway. That is one of the biggest issues with having the camos tied to weapon leveling is the fact that you will most likely complete many of those camo challenges while leveling the weapon up, but unfortunately you can't really access them until the weapon is maxed out, so hopefully they do take a different look at that. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below again, because I was wondering about this. But now moving over to actually getting the weapons unlocked here on the beta is actually pretty easy, but also kind of confusing, because it really doesn't tell you much of anything as well. So here's the weapon tracker, which doing this tracker is going to get you a battle rifle, which is basically a DMR. Then it's going to get you one of my favorite SMGs in the game, which is the FSS Hurricane. Then finally you can unlock one of the LMGs and or the M16 on top there. So if you guys might have been wondering, all you have to do to unlock these weapons is, for one, you will have to max out the M4 at level 19. Once that is done, these two weapons are then going to open up, so you can then move over to the battle rifle, which is the FTAC Recon. For this, you will have to max this weapon out to level 22, which, by the way, leveling up weapons on the beta is really easy. I really do hope they actually keep it this way in the game, so we don't have to play for 75 hours trying to max out one weapon like in Vanguard. Hopefully they do actually keep it like this, but once you guys get this weapon to level 22, you then can move over to the FSS Hurricane, which if you guys were running the other class that is in the game already, you can actually use this weapon with that. And I did end up maxing this weapon out before I even had it, because I did not even realize the tracker was over here, which is kind of unfortunate. So once you guys have the Hurricane unlocked, you then can actually put your own attachments on this weapon instead of running the regular default one like I did for a while there, but you most likely already have this weapon maxed out. So once you get this thing unlocked, you then can put your attachments on it and really have a cool build or try some different things out with it. And then moving over to the top part of the unlock tree here is going to be a light machine gun. Now, as I did mention before, once you guys have the M4 at level 19, you can then use the LMG up here or go down and use the battle rifle. You can actually use either one and finish up that tree, then head over to the top and do that one next. After you get the 5.56 LMG to level 15, then you'll have access to the M16, and that weapon goes up to level 15, but you guys will be able to mess around with these weapons and put on a ton of different attachments on them, which I do think that's going to be pretty awesome, but luckily the tree is going to be pretty easy to do. It's just kind of odd how it's going to be over here in progression, and the game really doesn't tell you much of anything like that, so I'm sure a lot of players are probably wondering how some players are using certain weapons. I was also wondering this as well when I was trying to figure out how some players are using certain weapons, so this can definitely be a bit confusing, but once you guys get some of the weapons unlocked, then you can really mess around with different builds and all that. So funnily enough, there's actually a way to use some of the other weapons as well. Now, I'm sure many players are probably wondering how some people are running around with like the MP5 or like the Lockman 5.56, which is going to be that really cool AR. Probably one of my favorite ARs so far in the beta, I have to admit, even more than the M4 as well. But getting these unlocked could be pretty easy. Now, one thing I do want to mention, by the way, though, is obviously once the level cap goes up, you're probably going to be able to do this a lot easier. The main reason for this is the weapon you actually need to unlock that weapon tree is going to be the Lockman 7.62, which obviously is unlocked at level 16, which you cannot get to level 16 yet in this beta until next week when it goes up a little bit. But luckily you can actually access some of these weapons pretty easy by doing a different option here. So obviously guys, taking a quick look at the MP5, aka the Lockman sub, you guys will notice in the progression tree here that it's obviously going to be locked. Now, there is a way to actually get the Lockman 5.56, which I was very confused on when I first died to this weapon in a match. But also doing this weapon, it's going to say lock, but you can also access the ROP-H, which is kind of another version of it. Basically a light machine gun version of that weapon that goes to level 17. And you can also access the MP5, which goes to level 18, I noticed for some odd reason. I cannot get this weapon to level 19. Maybe it's just bugged or something like that. But at least you can actually use the MP5 here on Modern Warfare 2 to really test out this weapon and see how it might do. We all know how the one on Modern Warfare 2019 actually was. Now, one thing I do want to mention though, is once the level cap goes up to level 30 next week, you guys will be able to hit level 16 and unlock the Lockman 7.62, which will allow you to actually do this tree legitimately. But even if you don't want to, once you hit level 4 and the custom classes are unlocked, you can actually get yourself the Lockman 5.56 pretty early on instead of actually hitting level 16 for the 7.62. So to do this, all you guys have to do is head over to one of your custom classes. So for me, I'm going to head over to number 6 and show you guys exactly what I did. So I have the shotgun right now on the primary, and then the secondary is just a pistol. And then for the perk package, I have the hunter right now. All you have to do is head over and hit the assault one, and it's going to change your secondary to this weapon. After that, all you guys then have to do is level up this weapon to level 19 to get access to the MP5 or the RAP-H, which is going to be an LMG version of the Lockman 5.56. So it is pretty cool that you can actually use these weapons pretty early on. I would recommend doing this at level 4 though, so you can get the Lockman unlocked if you do want to run the MP5. I would honestly be really surprised if they did end up patching this out with the Lockman 5.56, but then again, this is a beta, and they probably want players to really test out all the weapons to see what they think about it. But regardless, all you guys will have to do is hit level 16 to get access to the Lockman 7.62. So one thing I also wanted to show you guys as well is there's going to be other weapons you will be able to use in the menu here. Now you might be the only one that might be confused why you cannot use the sniper. As you guys will see, this is going to be unlocked at level 20. So once you guys hit 20 next week, and or if you might be watching this video when the next beta is actually out, at least you can hit level 20 and try out the sniper. For one, I also want to try this weapon out as well. And then moving over to the marksman rifles, you're probably going to notice the LMS is probably going to be locked. That's because this weapon is directly attached to the Lockman 7.62. Once you guys hit level 16, you can then use this weapon to unlock that weapon tree, which will allow you to actually use the LMS here, which is obviously going to be built on the Lockman platform there. But once you guys hit level 23, you can then use the Mark II afterwards, which I'm looking forward to trying this weapon out. One thing I do want to mention though that I did notice might be a little unfortunate is some of the weapons are going to be locked at level 1, so you will not be able to put any attachments on these, including the sniper rifle over here. I also noticed this with the Fennec as well, which by the way, you can unlock this weapon at level 25, but it's also capped at level 1 as well, so you guys will not be able to do anything to it. Then obviously the Lockman 7.62 will be unlocked at level 16. And then moving over to the assault rifles, the 74U is also going to be capped at level 1, which will be same with the TAC 56, aka the SCAR at level 30. You guys can unlock this weapon, but again, it's going to be capped at level 1. Now, one good thing though is if you guys wanted to use the 74U or the lovely Fennec over here, and even the Mark II, is at least you'll be able to use these weapons in the default classes with some type of attachments on them. I feel like that's probably going to be the best way to run some of these weapons because, well, at least you will have attachments on some of these weapons when actually running them in a default class, because let's be honest, using a base level Fennec going against something like the MP5 with attachments might be a bit of a challenge. Now that will basically do it for all the weapons you can unlock in this beta, which I do think is pretty awesome, the fact that they're giving us a good amount of weapons to use and we can even unlock some stuff and progress in levels. But I also wanted to show you guys some of the other things you can also try out in this as well. So for example, in the field upgrades, you will be able to unlock Dead Silence at level 30. So now moving over to some of the other items you will also be able to try out on your journey to level 30 in the beta is going to be some more field upgrades. So obviously in the beginning over here, we're going to have Dead Silence at level 30, which I would say every player probably hates as being a field upgrade by now. Then moving over to the Suppression Mine at level 24, and then moving past that at the Smoke Airdrop, call in a line of drones to deploy a smoke wall at a targeted location. That might be kind of cool to test out at level 22, and then after that we're going to have the Recon Drone at level 17, and that will basically do it after ending with the anti-armor rounds at level 29. And then finally, moving over to the kill streaks here that will also be available once you guys can actually progress past level 15, starting off with the cluster mine at level 18 over here, and then moving over to the precision airstrike after that is going to be at level 25, and then moving past that over here to the VTOL jet at level 21, and then we'll have the Overwatch HELO at level 29, which is definitely going to be a really crazy kill streak at level 30, and then after that we're going to end it with the advanced UAV at level 27, which obviously going down the row here, the advanced UAV is higher than the gunship. And then we will have the Wheelson at level 16 here, and then moving over to the next items you can get is the emergency airdrop, which you can obviously call in 3 random kill streaks with that. This will be unlocked at level 23, then moving over to the gunship. But that will basically do it for the video, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and let me know your thoughts on the Modern Warfare 2 beta in the comments below, and definitely stay tuned in the near future for more content on the beta.